You're listening to Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio. Sponsored by Treebor Soft Mints. Absolute Radio.
OK, this is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio. I'm with Emily and Gareth.
Hi, Frank.
Good morning.
That's it. You see, I've established that. Our guest today is it's Ed Byrne.
He's always on a steady course. Talk to Mr. Ed.
I'm going to talk to him. If you give me a chance, I just got to get.
Is he going to turn up this time?
Oh yeah, because he didn't turn up last time, did he? It was I think he fell at the third hurdle. Oh no, that was that, Mr. Ed. No, Ed Byrne was in a ditch.
He got stuck in a ditch.
Yeah, hopefully he'll tell us all about that.
Yeah.
Unless of course it was made up, in which case he'll just look sheepish, and that'll be a bit
He'll
difficult.
be able to make something up.
I don't want Mr.
Further,
Ed to look sheepish. There'd be a terrible animal amalgam. I say amalgam. Anyway, if you want to text us about anything at all, and I mean anything, on 8 12 15 you can do that. I say 8 12 15. Case, get your pencils and papers ready, and I'll read that out again later. Do people still get their pencils and papers ready? I used to do it on Blue Peter all the time. But when your auntie had to leave the room because they was going to show you what they were going to make as a present for them. Do you remember that?
No, they're on their iPads now, love.
Oh no, it's all changed. Well, aunties, not aunties now. They're not on iPads, are they?
Do me a favour, love.
Aunties on iPads. That's a good name for a band. Write that down, Gareth, will you? What a week I've had. I say, what a week I've had.
What have you done?
I've been pushing crisps.
Oh, not
mainly.
these crisps again.
Oh God, I've had
That's
to
all you do these days.
I know, it's taken over my life. I admit that. I had to do a load of interviews about crisps, and you know, there's I mean, I've got my limitations of what I have to say about them.
I'll say.
Yeah. So I had a few, like, you know, comical remarks up my sleeve. Got them out of the way about 30 seconds in.
Yeah.
I spoke to a man from the Birmingham Evening Mail who at one point, in all seriousness, said to me, "What strain of potato do Walkers use?" Well, I felt he'd put me on the spot somewhere.
It went a bit question time on you.
Get this. I said to him, "Well, I've always assumed it was King Edward's." I mean, what a complete what? I've never assumed it. I've never even... Who cares about it? But I obviously I had to sound like I was...
So were you doing the interviews? It was you, Jimmy Carr, Al Murray,
Yes.
and with Stephen Fry.
No, Stephen Fry didn't do
Why
the
wasn't he
interviews.
there?
I don't know, he had a special dispensation. I mean...
He's revising Wikipedia. Why doesn't he turn up?
Yes, you know, he's reciting from memory, Wikipedia. No, I don't know, I think he has because you're a national treasure, you don't have to do interviews,
Oh,
apparently.
dear.
Yeah, him and Betty Boothroyd. Same person? What do you think? Yeah. Who else did I do? I did...
So you did Birmingham Evening Mail. Now, that was preaching to the choir, really, though, wasn't it?
I should say, by the way, in case anyone's new listeners, I like to think that there are new listeners some weeks, you know, maybe if somebody... maybe if they're a hostage... And they're
can't reach
and the
radio.
kidnappers they listen to this on a regular
Yeah.
basis. So this person thinks, I've never heard this before.
Chained to something.
I'm doing a thing for Comic Relief where I have my own crisp flavour, and I'm up against 3 other comedians, and it's who sells the most crisps.
Well, 2, really. The other one never turns up.
Well, anyway.
And would he
You've got
consider himself
anti-Fry.
a comedian, or more
So we've
of
all
a-
got our... So I've got these Frank roast dinner
Yeah.
crisps is the thing. In the tradition of Salt and Lineker.
Oh, yeah.
Remember
Right,
those?
yes.
So a crisp that features your name. Smokey Beckham they had as well, didn't they?
Did they?
Oh, yeah. I've
Yeah.
forgotten those.
The David Seaman ones, they didn't sell. They didn't sell. I thought they were gone before they were on the market almost. So so I tell you who I got interviewed by. OK. Oh no, I tell you what. Love It magazine. Do you read that? Em?
No, I hate it. No, I do.
You should edit Hate
I'd
It
love
magazine.
to. I've got the first few cover stars lined up. Just wait and see.
Oh, is that? Did they launch that at Bitchfest? They launched that at Bitchfest.
No, I know Love It, Frank. It's a ladies' magazine, a weekly, and it's things like, yeah, I know the sort of headlines. They have all those kind of quite shouty cover lines. I know it well.
Okay, well,
My
anyway.
boyfriend exploded in the bath.
Exactly. The enemy between my legs.
Can you save that to later?
Sorry.
Your personal experiences section.
So go on, Love It.
So I was interviewed by a lady from Love It, and she was smashing. She was a sort of a Stacey Solomon type.
Did she write for Smashing as well? Wow, she gets around.
No, it wasn't.
Sorry.
It's all right. So she took out. She had a hat with her, a sort of a black sequined hat, and she said, "I'd like you to draw 3 words out of this, and then come up with a joke based on those 3 words." It's quite difficult.
Oh.
Yeah.
And I thought what summed up perhaps Love It more than any other thing is that I noticed the label on the hat said River Island. Well, I think we should try it anyway.
Okay.
So I don't have a hat. I have a plastic container, which formerly I think had Mini Heroes in it.
Oh.
And I don't mean John Burko. and we'll see if we can all do it. You're looking worried, Em.
I don't like it with your professional comic.
It's going to be all right. Don't go all Jenny and Claire on the jungle. It'll be fine.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio. Frank Skinner. Absolute Radio.
Yeah, so this thing, Love It magazine, she gave me. I had to pick 3. I have this. This is me rattling the things in case you're worried.
Oh, can I be the Debbie McGee role here?
Well, certainly. I think you've got just about.
Oh.
What does that?
Okay. So what do I do, Frank? So I'm going to pick out... There are pieces of paper in this tub.
So you pick out 3 words. You can read them out one at a time.
Okay.
So first word, and we've got to incorporate these words into a joke.
Sure.
Okay.
Right. It can be an old joke or a new joke.
Word number 1 is coming up shortly.
Okay.
Coming up short.
No, that's
You
a
shut
phrase.
up!
It's a
I'm trying to
phrase.
read the words. You've got to do silence
I
and
had
read the
something
words.
in that.
If this was where we find out that Emily's illiterate, she's got away with it by a series of bluffing tactics. I know I put her on the spot. That would be so...
Nothing to be ashamed of.
Nothing to be ashamed of,
Just
no.
put a picture of a handbag. Just put a picture of a handbag.
Go on, fire away.
All right, Andy. Do you want to hear... For Andy Gray, do you want to hear the first one?
Okay.
Texas.
Texas.
Yeah, Texas.
It's true, that's a bit difficult, isn't it? Can I
That
say
is.
that Emma, our producer, has put these words in?
Trying to bring us down.
I don't think she is, yeah.
What's that for?
You had an offer from Capital.
Word number 2
Yes.
is king.
Texas King.
Oh, this is very hard. I'm glad I'm not a comic.
True, this is virtually impossible.
Word number 3 is kidney.
You're joking.
No.
Texas King and kidney, and we've got to do a joke
Yeah.
based on that. Texas King
And kidney.
and kidney.
Do you...
So Martin Luther King was doing a speech in Texas,
Yes.
and they
But
said,
this has to be a joke, not a sentence.
"You're always saying that to me."
I know, yeah, but...
And
Now more than
someone
ever.
says, someone says, "How are your kidneys?" And he goes, "I don't know, but I have a spleen."
Oh.
I think that's
Not bad.
fabulous. I don't know if I dare take it.
I think that's pretty good. You did that so quick. It's the quickness of the man.
Oh, dear.
I'm buzzing. It's incredible.
So I was in Texas Home Store
Oh, that would be more like it.
in the offal section. You know, the offal section, and I saw King. You know King. Who used to the sort of 80s pop star?
Oh,
from
Paul
Coventry.
King.
Paul King. He was
Yeah.
known as just King at the time.
Yeah.
You don't know him?
No.
I do.
Ah, well then you won't know
Is that a real
about his
person?
transplant dilemma.
Can't imagine. What?
Yeah. And he said, he said, with his slightly pseudo-neuromantic manner, he said to me, are you selling offal? And I said, yes. Paul? I thought it was time I could move on to the Christian name. And he said, I'm in a bit of trouble. I said, I'll come back to it. Anyway. No, I don't think I can follow. I think I have to accept that it's your show.
Oh, really?
That you win. We'd have
No.
to change seats and everything.
Okay. Well, so what's next? Let's talk about. Please carry on, Frank. I can't do it.
Oh, well, I mean, I tried to hand it over.
You did.
Oh, God. I hope Egypt goes better than this with the handover. Okay, so, well, I think that was a special moment. I think we should try. It's the hardest words I've ever heard.
They were hard.
I realise now, because
Yeah.
me and the producer had a bit of a row last weekend, and I realise now
Oh,
she's...
don't talk about the row.
She said to
Don't
Gareth, "Look, these are the
overshare.
words."
I feel sick.
Don't mention the row.
I'm not supposed to mention the row.
Don't overshare.
Oh, okay.
This is Frank Skinner on
Absolute Radio.
Frank, we've had a correzione in.
I see.
Would you like to hear it?
No.
Oh, okay.
So, also this week.
No, Frank. I'm going to read it to you.
Okay.
In your opening link, you used the phrase par exemple. We've had a text in saying it is exempli gratia if you're about to give an example, not par exemple. Up the baggies, Dave, West Bromwich.
Well, now there's... I find myself torn in many directions. I love the fact that an Albion fan from West Bromwich is correcting me on my Latin. But I was doing it, I was speaking French.
Yes, he's confusing it there,
He's thinking E.G., isn't he?
Exactly, Frank.
But you can say... I'm right, you can say par exemple.
It's the French equivalent.
Dave, you're Latin obsessed. He's the one he starts a lot of Latin chants at the Albion. And, which, normally I like.
You went for the living language, he went for the dead one.
But, hey, that's all right. I mean, look, Montaigne was brought up, first 2 years of his life when he was only allowed to speak Latin, and all the servants had to speak Latin to him and stuff like that, so he grew up with it as his native language. Wow. So this is Absolute Radio, in case you're thinking, what is this? I've accidentally tuned into Bamba Gascoigne FM. Let's drag it back to the real world. I got interviewed by OK TV.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I don't know if you know this.
That.
If you don't know this, I don't want to break it to you too suddenly, but Live from Studio 5 has gone.
What?
From Channel 5.
Oh.
Gone. And it's been replaced by OK TV. Oh. So I got interviewed by a guy called... Now, what was he called? He's a very...
Matt Johnson.
Oh, you knew this?
Yeah, I know who he is. I know he's doing OK TV.
Oh, yeah, he's a very handsome young... Pretty, I would say. A pretty Welshman.
Pretty?
Yeah.
Pretty Welshman?
Yeah.
Wow.
He looks like a brilliant edit of Rob Brydon. A really... they got the hair right. They took away the shotgun blast. It really looks handsome version.
That's so accurate.
And he's doing it with Denise Van Outen.
Oh, yeah. You were admiring her legs only the other week.
Well, not in a sexist way, can I point that out? God, don't you start. I got interviewed by The Guardian.
Don't you start. Do me a favour, love.
I got interviewed by The Guardian this week, and the journalist said, so anyway, why do you hate women?
Was that opening gambit?
Oh, mate, it wasn't opening gambit. They softened me up first. But, I mean, what a question.
Did you say, let's start a list?
Well, I mean, it's a big question, isn't it?
Did you produce a photograph of me?
Luckily, I had a wall chart. No, I was upset by such an accusation, but what can you do?
Was it a female reporter or was it a male one?
Sexist! No, it's one of those robot ones you used to get on the telly. Remember, you used to sit in a computer, you used to ask people questions.
Oh, yeah.
Some kids.
I love that, yeah.
Yes, it was the best ever. Yeah, so that was... I'm starting to think, so they've got very, very good-looking people on OK TV, is what I'm saying. And, the normal formula is that you have a less attractive older bloke and then a pretty young girl.
I don't know what you're talking about.
That's the TV presenting idea. So you get a sense of authority and beauty. I'm all for just going for the beauty, personally. I was watching Andrew Neil, who I've met, and he was a nice man. Do you know him there?
Oh, I used to work for him.
Yeah, I was watching him on the telly this week, and I think he's had something... He's interfered with his hairline in some manner. And I was looking at his hair, and I started to feel terribly anxious about the whole... Yeah, about death, about the whole thing, decay. And I don't get that when I look at Matt Johnson. I just, I think, blossoming youth.
I know what you mean.
So, I don't know if it's the way forward.
In an ideal world, you can have a bit of both. Paxman. He ticks all the boxes.
Well, I'm not sure about him either.
Oh, dear.
He looks... There's a hint in the look of him of the Big Bird type. You know what I mean? I imagine there's... if it panned down, there'd be two enormous talons... the crossbar you get on a chair, where sometimes you rest your heels. Two enormous talons hooked into that. And as the questions get more ferocious, I can imagine them slightly flinching and unflinching. I'm not saying that that's a factual thing, but that's what I've always imagined about Paxman. Oh, it's been a funny old morning in many ways, but, I'm enjoying it in my own little way. I tell you, comedy's not as difficult as you might think, though. I was watching Hello, Hello this week.
Oh, yeah.
And the English man who pretends to be French said...
Isn't that all of them?
Yeah, no, but the one who's deliberately an English... the one with the big moustache? Who's hiding out.
I'll say this only once.
No, not him.
Oh.
No, this the
I
one.
don't know.
You'll know what I mean when I say... He said...
The policeman.
He said, don't get your knockers in a twast. And it got a round of applause from the studio audience.
Oh, dear.
So
They're very easily pleased, that lot.
I found it very heartening that, I've been wasting all these times over the years working away at gags when I could just say, don't get your knockers in a twast.
That is funny.
It's just coming up, yeah, it is. It's the best thing. If only the 3 words that came out of the hat was knockers, twast, and don't, I could have brought the house down, but the moment's gone, you have to live with that.
This is Frank Skinner.
Absolute
Radio.
I tell you, I've got my new shower in. It's always a
have
bit
you?
of a... I've been longing for the new shower for a while because what I've been operating on is one of those where the thing's on like a bendy, tubey thing and it's just hooked on the wall.
Oh,
and
I know.
thought, well, I want a proper fixed one like you get in a hotel. So I got the man in and it was all there looking lovely and I thought, I can't wait to get in that shower. I got in, I could not get the water above lukewarm.
Oh, I can't bear that
And that
phone.
is, oh man. I was going to say there's nothing worse, but that could be this week's phone in. What's worse than that? And there's probably loads of stuff. But from a domestic bliss point of view, having a lukewarm shower.
Oh, it's horrible.
I mean,
Prison conditions.
and also he hasn't put a soap dish holder. I mean, come on.
Well, you don't use soap still, do you? I hate soap.
You don't use soap? What do you
Oh, it's
mean?
a
What do
bit-
you do? Just stand and
I
hope
use
for
a
the best?
moisturising body wash, thank you.
Oh, no.
Soap's a bit Edwardian Borstal. I'm not you putting that anywhere near
I like
me.
a bit of Edwardian Borstal first thing in the morning. Yeah, I'll tell you what though, we've got it mended now. We've got the hot water down it, but the thing is just it's on the ceiling of the shower. There's just this enormous circular shower head, so there's not much gap around the side where there isn't water. So when I'm soaping up, you don't want to be soaping up directly under the shower because it just rinses straight off. So I'm pinned against the wall. It's become like Mission Impossible. I'm pinned against the wall, avoiding the killer rays.
top corner of the shower.
Just in the corner, just trying to get to all those little things before I go back in for me hot rinse.
And you like a good scrub. We've already established
I
this.
love a good scrub. That's what it's all about.
You spend a while on the feet, don't
Yeah,
you?
individual toe gaps.
Yeah.
I do all that. I've started doing my ears in recent months.
Excellent.
I say I've started doing my ears. In recent months. You'll look to me like that was something. That's a good thing, Sheila. Yeah, but and also I've decided now that my sofa is too far from the telly. I don't know if my eyesight.
Man.
Is it in the shower?
It is, yeah. You know, I went to a Gracelands and I spoke to one of the people who worked there, where Elvis lived. And he used to have like a black PVC, not PVC, just whatever chairs that aren't leather made out of. That stuff that looks like leather but isn't.
Plastic.
Leatherette.
Leatherette, we'll call it that.
Vinyl. Let's
leatherette.
go with vinyl.
Well, it's not really. Anyway, that stuff. He had a black chair in the shower towards the end when standing up was a bit of a... And he used to sit in there on like a... Not like a garden furniture, but like a big upholstered armchair in the shower. And they said it started to get all mould growing on it and stuff, and he just sat on it anyway. How absolutely marvellous. The thing is without the soap dish, though,
Yeah.
do you not find this, if you put soap directly on the surface... Well, I did it the other morning because there was no soap dish. I just put it on the floor. I couldn't pick it up the next day.
No.
I needed a crowbar. What I need is that one of the great master strokes of British design, the label on the imperial leather.
Oh, yeah.
So you get a tiny, almost like a little plinth, a mini plinth.
Oh, is that what that's for?
Of course. What do you think it was for?
Well, I thought it was decorative.
Oh, don't
So
be
you put it
ridiculous.
face down on that.
Yeah.
Oh, Frank, that's made me very nostalgic for imperial leather. I might go and buy some after this.
Yeah.
Other soaps are
I love it.
Does that qualify as an idiotic eureka moment? You never realised that the label... Have you never noticed that the bit behind the... I tell you what, it forms a kind of a kitten heel on the soap.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Frank on
radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
Ed Byrne has just entered the building. It's a bit of an exciting moment.
He's always on a steady course. Talk to Mr. Ed.
And we were talking to Mr. Ed after the news. So, still Frank Skinner, in case you were getting optimistic. And we were talking about those little things that spoil the domestic bliss. And I don't have a soap tray in my shower. That's what I was talking about. Might not seem like a big thing to you. But I was wondering if I could go soap on a rope. That seemed to solve. Do they still exist?
Well, they do, and do you know how I know that? Because that was my Christmas present last year from my niece.
But was it real or was it ironic?
It was a Stig. The Stig from Top Gear.
Oh, okay.
Well,
that's
formerly of Top Gear.
That's a collector's item.
Well, exactly, before he did his kiss and tell.
Was it masked or unmasked?
It was masked.
What would have been brilliant is if it had the full face helmet, and then as you used it, the face of the bloke emerged.
Well, now he's out of work, you can actually get him to be in your bath on a rope and wash you and stuff.
Well, give him another 6 months, he'll be on a rope in his own shower.
Oh, and sorry.
Go on. I like that. You're going to take up the whole thing.
I was going to try and my domestic thing is that I insist on is I don't mind it being really messy, but if there's mess on the bed,
Mess.
What do you mean? It's disgusting.
I should
mean,
say
just
that
like stuff left
Gareth
around.
breeds Alsatians. He's got 23 in the house.
No, I mean just
If
like
there's mess on the bed, I'm not
stuff
happy,
left.
but that's not strict.
If there's mess on the bed, I'm delighted.
I don't mean that sort of mess. I mean like just stuff left around.
Oh, I see.
Clothes, debris.
Debris.
And
Christmas
because,
decorations.
You know, if however messy it is, at least you can go to bed.
Yeah.
But if there's stuff on the bed, then you can't go to bed. You've got to tidy the bed first,
Yes.
and that gets me down.
I can understand that.
Also, our front door it's a bungalow, and there's no like step. Usually there's some sort of threshold on the floor.
If you wanted steps, don't move to a bungalow. That's my advice.
No, but there's usually some sort of rim or something, or a frame. And it's just like flat, so leaves come into our hallway.
There's no frame
A
on
lot
your
of
door.
leaves. Well, there's no thing that rises up that you have to step over.
A bungalow, not a cave.
It's a bit like a cave because it's just like a flat.
Leaves come under the door.
No, they come when you open the door. They come in. They blow in.
Do they really?
That's very nice.
Well, I hope they don't get on the bed. That'd be a double whammy.
I left. I went to get the train, and I accidentally left the front door open the other day. And Laura said,
Now, I know for a fact that there is a note on your door as you leave that says things like, don't forget your keys, take your wallet,
Shut the door.
make sure you got those 2 mittens on a string.
Yeah.
You left the door open.
So having read all that, you then left the door
Was
open.
your baby
Shut
inside
the door.
at the time?
No one was
They
there.
couldn't find it for leave.
Well, when Laura came home, just the whole hallway was
Oh, she wasn't
full of
even in the
leaves. No,
house.
she
She
was
just
in the
left
house.
the door
I just, like,
wide
I left
open.
in the morning.
What about
Yeah.
security
She
concerns?
left it wide open.
Wide open in the morning.
Yeah, but Frankie lives in Beaumont, so there's no theft there.
There must be some theft in Bournemouth, surely. I think I lost a pair of Espadrilles in 1984 there.
Well, I looked on that new police website, and there was a antisocial behaviour down the road from us, but that's about it.
Yeah, well, you're tempting that person, aren't you? You're trying to get that person back inside. Let's leave the door open. Let's see how that goes. Tomorrow, I'll put some money on the windowsill.
Probably
No,
tidy
it's,
up.
If you've got anything, little tiny domestic things that get on your nerves, you know, feel free to text in on 81215. I say 81215 because, you know, we like to feel this show is interactive.
Well, actually, Frank, we've had a tweet in, and
A
this
tweet?
is, yes, a tweet.
It's a bit
Very
21st
interactive.
century, isn't
Well,
it?
exactly.
Is it Stephen Fry?
No, he's revising Wikipedia. I told you.
Oh, yeah, of course.
This is from Lydia in Brighton.
Lydia, that encyclopedia. Oh, Lydia, the tattooed lady. Is it her?
I don't know if she's a tattooed lady, but she
Let's
says,
hope so.
"Hey, Emily and Gareth, could you ask Frank for his cowboy puppet script? I want to make it indie-styly." Now, that's a reference to your TV show featuring puppets. That
My
you would-
rejected puppet. I mean, yes, I have a theory that there shouldn't be any human beings on television at all, that everything should be done with puppets. Right. I honestly think this would make telly better, certainly cheaper. So I wrote a cowboy puppet show called Cactus Creek, which was rejected out of hand, can I say. Well, she wants to make it in an indie way. What does that mean?
Oh, I don't know. It was cowboys.
Like Native Americans.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was there was Native Americans in it. I remember there was a joke about Sitting Bull having an enormous uprising. And I said, really, he must be 60. Or something like that. I haven't read it for a long time.
She's an animator, Frank.
Oh, she's an animator?
Yeah.
Well, that's exciting, isn't it?
So there you go. Well, you
there was
haven't
also a
answered the
joke
question.
about being plum-tuckered, I remember. It's something that came out, I'm plum-tuckered. And it was a debate about whether that was a dessert or not. It wasn't that good, as you may have guessed. This is what I can remember, and I doubt I'm remembering the bad stuff.
Frank, John and Finchley, the domestic things that annoy me are called kids. Oh,
I'm loving that.
John.
I'm loving that, John, with your... this is the song for you, then. How perfect is this? This is Arcade Fire, City with No Children.
You're listening to Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio, the softest, mintiest show in town. Sponsored by Tree Boss Soft Mints.
Absolute Radio.
We've had lots of domestic texts.
We have. We've got one in from... Well, he's actually remained anonymous. And he says, I have 2 girls, 3 if you include my wife, and the toothpaste round the sink and rim of the tube drives me crazy. Plus, leaving empty loo rolls on the roller thingy is another pet hate.
Yes, well, I don't quite
understand
the toothpaste
well, then
around
he
the
says,
sink.
I just hope that through their silliness, they're not making me OCD.
I like their silliness.
Little insight
this is a
into-
man at the end of his tether,
I
isn't
know. He's going to go a bit mental, that one, I think.
We've had a text from Trish in Reading. Annoying domestic things are the random things that I put on the stairs until I find a home for them. E.g. nail varnish, 1 sock, tube of insect bite cream, a duster.
Tube of insect bite cream.
Elderly relative.
Elderly relatives.
You don't have that problem, Gareth.
That frog halfway up the stairs.
See, Frank,
Yeah, don't
he's
rub
got
it in,
bungalow,
Trish.
so it doesn't affect him.
No, exactly. What do you leave yours on the bed?
On the bed.
Yeah. No, I put things on the stairs, actually, that are going to go upstairs, and I think,
Oh,
well,
do
when
you?
I'm passing, I'll gather these,
Yeah.
take them with me. Well, you don't want to be up and downstairs all day.
Yeah.
But if you step on them on the stairs, that's really dangerous.
Yes, well, when I say leave things on the stairs, I mean, say, not so much a roller skate.
Yeah.
Not so much that. More like, breathing apparatus for when I wake up first thing in the morning.
We've had a text in from Andrew in Bishop Stortford. My domestic thing...
Stortford, I think they call it in Bishop Stortford.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, they've dropped the bishops.
Oh, have they?
Oh, God, yeah.
I don't know their vernacular. My domestic thing, leaving the TV or radio volume on a number that's not a multiple of 2 or 5, even if it's too loud or quiet. Oh, he's my kind of man, I like him.
Multiple of 2 or 5?
Yeah.
Yeah, so 3 would be out. Do you see?
3. So it can't be on 3,
7.
it has to be on one of the...
It's a kind of Rain Man thing, and I like it in him.
I like that, you see, because that's someone they've embraced the OCD thing. So, respect to Mundo.
And Pete
I said that 3 times. I'll carry on.
Pete from North Yorkshire. It doesn't matter how many spare coat hangers there are. My missus hangs coats, handbags, anything on the doorknob so that you can't get in anywhere without having to move the item, whatever it is.
Oh, I do that, yeah.
Do you know that happened to me this very morning?
Did it?
Because I went to the toilet, and obviously everyone's asleep in our house. I don't know if you know, but I live with my girlfriend. Well, not married. And now her sister lives with us as well.
Very much.
So in the morning I have to be very quiet, so I don't want to wake either of them up. So I went into the toilet and I thought, well, I'll close the door. This is the other thing about having the sister living there. You have to close the door when you get to the toilet.
Yeah.
Normally I wouldn't bother with the girlfriend.
Oh, yeah.
But I did it to, because I wanted to muffle the sound. I mean, it was a
Well, what were you doing in there?
standing up toilet, but even so,
Oh.
There's too many things hanging on the door. On coat hangers, then on the door handle.
Pete says he made a piece of wood with various knobs on it. Like
Made a piece of wood?
Yes.
Is he? God.
and like with all lots of hooks and coat hangers on, and she said, "What is that?" as she hung her coat on a door handle.
Well, Pete is not being fully appreciated.
No.
You know, maybe it's time to think about couple counselling. What do you think?
No, go straight for divorce.
God.
We only have this excerpt. This is Frank Skinner
Absolute
Radio.
magnificent. The Fall, Live Dream of Casino Soul, and Ed Byrne has arrived this time.
He's actually here, yes.
In case you're a new listener, Ed was due on, or it must have been 6 months ago now.
Yeah, was it that long? I think it was even longer ago than that.
And all we heard was that you're in a ditch. That's what we were told.
So, you know what? I can tell you exactly when it was. It was October of 2009. It was actually that long ago.
True.
And I remember it distinctly because I was looking forward to coming in because I got a new car and it was going to be my first time driving my new car.
I thought that was going to be a compliment to the show.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I was looking forward to the drive.
It was a
to
Jeremy
the show.
Clarkson type
in
remark.
my new car.
Okay.
And my new car sank in my own, just outside my own driveway because of a burst pipe. And the car actually, and I was really annoyed because I was up in time, in plenty of time to enjoy the drive.
Yes.
And I pulled out of the.
Well, it was the drive that let you down.
Exactly, and I sank. And then, but it was really because we were phoning. My wife phoned and said, "Oh, we can't come because his car has sunk."
Yeah.
And like,
Which does sound a bit of a weird excuse.
it does sound like a very odd. But he even said, "Have you not got another car that he could drive?" And we do have another car that I could, but I couldn't get it out of the driveway because my car was blocking the drive.
That was me that said, "Have you not got another car?"
So which was
quite
that would
presumptuous, but
never
fair
have
enough.
occurred to me that people
Do you have a
two
second
cars.
car? But it's funny when my wife turned to me. It's quite presumptuous. Do you not have a second car? I mean, we do. Well, just assume it. But we couldn't get the second car out of the drive
see,
because
when
the
they
first
said
car was
ditch,
blocking the drive.
I thought they meant one of those ditches like what you get in the country. I thought you'd
Yes.
gone off the road. That's what I
No,
thought happened.
we had, because then we were listening as well, and we heard you say, "Oh, apparently he's broken down." Oh no, he's not broken down. Apparently he's in a ditch. This is turning into a 1970s farce.
Yes, exactly. But
no.
it made you sound like some sort of reckless character who drove across.
I had to
till-
get the AA to come and pull me out of my own driveway. And even they came and went, they had to go away and get another lorry that was more the equal to the task. That was the ditch pulling out lorry as opposed to a simple tow truck.
Actually, sunk into your own drive. That's a terrible way to go.
Yeah,
Well-
brand new car, and I'm sure it didn't do the underside of it any good either. So
Anyway.
that was my tale of woe.
Well, I'm glad you made it this time. And are you still driving that car?
Still driving that car, yeah. It goes back.
It was a risk. It was a risk this morning. I bet you were glad to see it above surface when you looked out the front window.
I've had it fitted with a periscope just in case.
Marvellous. So you...
And by the way, the drive is quite a long drive because I live out near Bishop Stortford, which
What?
I heard you talking about just a second
Stortford,
ago.
you mean?
I call it Stortford. My wife calls it B Stortford.
Yeah, is that because she doesn't like it?
Yeah.
She just, I don't know why she does that, but we live directly between Bishop Stortford and Saffron Walden. Do you know what she calls Saffron Walden?
Go on.
I'm almost ashamed of this.
Go on.
Saffers. How middle class is that?
Oh,
Saffers.
Saffers.
I'll go, you should go
Don't
to
like Saffers.
I'm going to go to Saffers. Stop calling it that.
Oh, lovely. Saffers. I'm
Yeah.
liking it. Maybe we can reduce all the great towns of
My
Britain.
wife has a bunch of quite middle class sort of phrases that I have to just beat out of her.
she sounds lovely. I like the sound of her.
Is she middle class or has she had elocution lessons?
No, she's a farmer's daughter. But
Oh, okay.
she has a lot of middle class friends. And she, that's right up my Strasse. I can't be getting on with that at all. She's had to stop saying that one. That sounds right up my Strasse.
I do use the phrase Strasse myself.
That's my favourite phrase.
I will not have it in the house.
But you're strict. You're very strict. Yeah, but then it's give and take. Do you say "what about you" and stuff like that? That Irish thing.
No, but I'm not allowed to call things yolks. That's one.
What?
That's what. Yeah,
What?
we in Ireland we something that you can't remember the name of, or
Yeah.
just want to say that thing. You'd say that yoke.
Oh, I
That
never heard
thingamabob. Yeah,
Extraordinary.
yoke for thingamabob. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that annoys her, so that's had to go by the wayside. So it's give and take.
Did you say the car sunk into the drive? So it has. Did you say that? That's what I want to know.
Sure, and the car has sunk into the drive, so it has.
There you go. Give and take.
This is Frank Skinner on
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
Ed Byrne's with us. Ed Byrne is about to go on tour on the 2nd of March for a long time. How many dates is it? Have you counted?
It's between 50 and 60 on just this leg. It's March, April, May, and then I'll take June, July off, and then Edinburgh in August, and then back on tour September, October, November.
That's a proper tour.
Properly, you know yourself, though writing the jokes is the easy part. It's the hard part. Once
Yes.
they're written, you want to go out and tell them to
Exactly,
everyone. So,
that's the exciting bit, yes.
And
No.
the main themes of the show are Texas, kings, and kidneys.
Now, if only you'd been here earlier.
Really? Why? What happened?
Oh, well. No, I hate it when that happens. You say that would have been so perfect. Oh, well, it's gone. Let's just let it go. So I should say that, just for the sake of bookkeeping, that if you go to www.edbyrne.com, you'll get... www. There's three W's. Apparently there's three W's now.
I can't. It's funny when people still do this www bit.
Have you ever put that in your life?
No.
Have you ever typed in www?
www. No. And in the Kiwis, in church, they say dub. Which I quite
Do
like.
they?
Yeah, when they quote a website, if you got a dub.
You sure you're not thinking of the Boy Scouts?
No, I'm not.
Dib. No, so anyway, if you look up Ed Byrne on Google,
edbyrne.com.
you'll get to... Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And he's everywhere.
And
He's
the
definitely
there.
at a place near you.
Yeah.
Okay, but we were talking about the fact you live in the country. Is it proper, like, 1970s rock star buys trout farm type living for you? Do you get
It's
up and
quite
chop
nice.
logs and stuff?
Yeah, I do actually. I have a chainsaw.
Wow,
Which
I
I
was
use to
thinking
cut up.
axe, but you've gone chainsaw.
I have a chainsaw.
That is
Once-
only because of the Texas reference. He wants to crowbar that in.
I have a
Kidney shaped swimming pool. King size bed.
Hey!
I might applaud that. I enjoyed it so much.
Okay, so you do all that. Have you got a dog?
No, I don't have I have a cat.
You
Which
can't
is
have
not very
you can't have a
country.
cat if you're a landlord like that.
No, but I can't have a dog if I'm on the road all the time either.
But your wife's at home, can't she look after
Yeah, she
that?
comes a lot of the time on. Oh, hey, she accompanies me. Accompany me. I
9:30
talk
in
for a
the
living, but she comes with me a lot, and I mean, we have a baby now, and people go, "Or you can't commit to a dog, but you have a baby." But yeah, you can bring a baby anywhere. Babies aren't. You can bring a baby on a plane, and you can bring a baby on.
Not when I'm on the plane, you can't.
It's not illegal. We haven't done it yet. Whereas you can't bring a dog anywhere. So it's actually easier. Babies don't impinge on your travelling the way dogs do.
you know,
we don't have a dog.
I was on an internal flight in the USA once, and I could hear a dog barking in the hold. That was a
No.
terrible thing, yeah. The idea of this distressed animal beneath us in the cold. Yeah.
No, that's
That's the nice
But so don't take it on a plane. Well, if I was going to live there, I'd want a red setter. Do you know what I mean?
absolutely.
Yeah. Otherwise, what's going to...
It's proper country, but we're not that country folk. In fact, just even trying to adjust to life out there. Like we ran out of oil within a couple of months because I just forgot that there's an oil tank.
Olive
that has
oil.
to be filled up. Heating oil.
Oh,
You have to
okay.
fill up an
You
oil
have to fill
tank.
it, yeah, no. And we just ran out of oil. So we were getting, because we just moved in, we were getting the kitchen done. And so we actually ended up burning bits of the old kitchen to stay warm, which just felt very poor.
That's
But it was
brilliant.
actually quite cool.
That is fantastic.
That we ran out of heating oil, so we're smashing up old kitchen cabinets that we were getting ripped out anyway and burning them in the fireplace because we also hadn't bought the chainsaw at this point.
But that could be habit form. If you're getting drunk one night, you're a bit cold. You'll have the whole lounge piled up in the middle of the room. Brilliant. So it's the country life. I bet you've got Wellingtons and everything.
I have muck boots. Yeah.
Muck boots?
That's every brand of Wellington.
Oh, I didn't know that.
They're
See,
really
even-
good for riding horses. I don't ride horses. I've gone proper posh.
Yeah.
Except that I use phrases like proper posh, which implies that I'm not. I actually had a story in my last show about the fact that we had pheasant for dinner one time, which seems like a very posh thing to have. But the reason that we had pheasant for dinner is because a pheasant flew into the patio door, broke its neck, so we ate it. Which is quite.
It's a shame to waste
That's not
it.
even working class. That's proper gypsy, really, isn't it?
Meals on wings.
Meals on wings, yeah.
Yeah, fabulous.
So
you haven't been tempted to get the old shotgun?
No.
Because this is what happens when you move to the country. You see something on a tree and you think, what would it be like to see that explode at my will?
We have it. There is a shooting club just down the road from us.
so
So
it
that's,
starts.
it is pretty...
Have you ever clay pigeoned?
Who hasn't?
That's exciting.
Do you know who I last went clay pigeon shooting with? Fred Macaulay.
Fred Macaulay, the famous Scottish comedian who does the best baby sneezing impression I've ever heard in my life. You're going to have to take my word for that, listeners.
We're getting a bit too in now, aren't we? People are just going... They're talking about old friends now,
but
and their obscure impressions.
That's why
that won't work on the radio.
That's why I broadened it, because everyone's heard a baby sneeze, haven't they? Yeah.
But I did ask whether somebody then actually said that actually eating something that's died in your land is actually quite a posh thing to do. but they said that just by the way I told the story about it, I was clearly quite working class because I'd said that it flew into the patio door and not the French window.
I was going to point that out, but I think you're a guest and it's rude.
Yeah.
Because people in the country, they have those like stickers you can put on your windows. Have you seen those with like a shape of a bird?
Picture of a bird.
And it's supposed to stop birds from flying into it. But I don't quite see.
Well, I think it was Jerry Seinfeld who remarked on the fact that I can understand them sort of flying into a window, but you'd think they'd at least try and avoid the other bird that's flying towards them.
Yeah.
You know, in the reflection.
Yeah, maybe I don't know, maybe the bomp is still a popular part of bird culture. Do you remember the bomp? It's 1970s dance sensation. Yes, you're right.
I was 8 at the end of the 70s.
Yeah, but you know, I know who Alexander the Great is, and I didn't have to be there.
Yeah, but you don't remember Alexander the Great.
You'd be surprised.
This is Frank Skinner on
Absolute Radio.
Frank, we've had a text in about the lovely Ed.
Oh, yeah?
He's already the lovely Ed, you see.
Oh, that's nice.
He's won me over,
This
I
is
have to
when
say.
she doesn't warm to all the guests,
No.
I'll tell you that.
No, I like
Am I
it.
right up your Strasse?
Oh, yes, you are.
Well, it's early yet.
It's from Eleanor, who says, you couldn't have picked a more perfect guest. I watched him on the Graham Norton show last night, and Ed was non-stop funny. Let's hope for the same this morning.
Well, sorry about that. That last link was a bit dead in places, I think. But I think we started strong.
Well, non-stop funny, you can't argue with that, surely.
Exactly.
No, I appreciate that. But then they do a lot of editing, you know. It wasn't like it was a live show.
No.
But I was on with Helen Mirren and Emily Blunt all over me. Honestly. I mean, I expected it of Graham, but ladies, have some respect.
Fabulous. Now, you're about to dance in public.
Yeah, I'm doing Let's Dance for Comic Relief.
Are you a dancer by nature? I can imagine you cutting some shapes on the floor.
Do you know what I did once in a bar in Chicago around St. Patrick's weekend?
That's a great start to an anecdote.
It is great. Actually had 3 black girls yelling, "Go white boy, get to it, it's your birthday," as I danced in a bar.
So, you know, magnificent.
That was a real sort of teen movie moment. You're told to get to it, it's my birthday.
Can you describe your style?
Mid-90s.
Okay.
To describe. Well, I learned. I decided on a way of dancing in the mid-90s, and I've stuck with it.
I think that's...
You know.
and you're not allowed to say what you're going to do on the show,
I'm
I
not.
guess.
No, I will tell you that I won't be winning because I won't be in drag. It's always a bloke in drag who wins.
Yeah.
It does really help. So you're doing a male
I
person.
will be doing, but I will be dressed in an unflattering outfit. I can tell you that
Well,
much.
I should hope for that, at least.
There will be no doubt as to the fact that I do not have a dancer's body. I'm doing a dance from a film.
Okay.
I'll tell you that much.
Oh, God, it's getting like it's a
Oh.
film of...
You'll tease no more out of me than that.
No. We shouldn't because, you know... Oh, it's good that you're dancing, I'm selling crisps. We've both found our own little form of humiliation for comic relief.
But the thing is, you know yourself, when you do like a TV show and you're on with, say, a politician or a musician and they say something that's sort of mildly amusing, they get a big laugh and a round of applause because they're not, you know, professional comedians.
Yes.
And now, Let's Dance for Comic Relief is like my turn to get that same sort of patronising adulation. Oh, look, he's managed to memorise some rudimentary dance moves and not fall over. Look, congratulations. You didn't set yourself on fire while shuffling around a lot on the stage.
You'll come over as a great guy. That thing does work both ways, because I did, like, I don't know if you've ever done Question Time, but on Question Time you don't have to be very profound to get a round of applause if you're the non-politician.
I have done Question Time.
So it is.
I don't think I did very well on Question Time. The thing that I don't like on Question Time, I hate when people do it, is when the non-politician always says a thing of just going, when are these bloody politicians just gonna wake up?
Yeah, and applause.
Yeah, it's just a very easy, all politicians are... it's like being the pigeon at Wimbledon, you know? You just get a round of applause just by dint of not being a tennis player, you know? Just landing on the net is enough to get
It's a fabulous analogy. I'm very happy with that. Now, you've been on more erudite shows than Question Time, because I only just discovered this week your TV debut was on Blind Date.
Yeah.
Oh.
Guilty. I was a contestant on Blind Date.
Were
Yes.
you
I joined
picking
Amanda
or-
Hull. I was not. I was one of the people not being picked.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so what do you think? There's 4 people on that show, and 2 of them don't go on a date. You have a 50-50 chance. And I was one of the people who didn't.
Were you like number 3, all dressed in lycra?
No, I
And,
wasn't the
with dark
comedy.
glasses
I
on?
wasn't. I wasn't like a novelty person, but I was mildly amusing. So she probably thought I was ugly. I was number 1, and she picked Gavin, from the stripper from King's Lynn.
Oh dear. I bet no good came of that.
No good came of it. I tuned in next week. She hated him. She hated him. But what was annoying was she hated him because he was just so big-headed about his muscles. But she picked him because he went on about his muscles. No, we get the people we deserve.
Isn't that just...
Not that I'm bitter.
Typical.
But she was quite good-looking.
How did you end up on there? Why did that happen?
It was that classic, This is back in the days.
You're not going to say your friend sent in the application form?
No, not at all. It was back in the day when we only had 4 channels, and so myself and my mates, we used to watch it, and we'd be slagging it off, and he said, well, why don't you go on it, sort of thing. And then it was just one of those weird fate things, because and then the following week I was working in the student union in Strathclyde Uni in Glasgow, and the next...
So you were a comic already?
No, I was working as the vice president of the students union.
Okay.
And the next week, this envelope landed on my desk of posters to put up in the student union advertising that they were holding auditions for Blind Date. And I went, well, that
just
is
an
weird.
Act of fate.
So I put the posters in the bin to cut down on the competition. I went to the auditions. Yeah, that was about the size
I like
of it.
the Blind Date with an element of espionage.
Oh, yeah.
And did people recognise you after? Did people in that...
It's unbelievable. Even now, having done, the Royal Variety and Des O'Connor and whatever, with the Graham Norton show, I've never had recognition like you had for being on a show like Blind Date.
Really?
There was something like 16 million people watched it.
Yeah.
And it's that thing of, because you're just a game show contestant, people feel quite happy to approach you. If you see George Clooney, in a bar, you might, I'll leave him alone.
Yeah.
But you see somebody off of, I don't know, whatever, Big Brother or Blind Date, you'll go up to them. And
Yeah,
it was
'cause
you couldn't go out to buy a pack of fags without 10 people stopping you on the street going, oh.
I saw a woman who hosted the Great British Quiz, which is on a thing that's on at 3 o'clock in the morning. And, there's like 7 numbers in a row, and you have to say what the next number will be, and there is no answer.
Yeah.
And people phone in for 10p. And I felt she was approachable.
I'd say the funniest thing was the day after Blind Date broadcast, I went out and I just bumped into a guy in the street, and he'd been at a party all night, and the reason he'd been at this party was because their friend was the girl who was coming back from the previous date from the previous week.
Okay.
So this whole party had a blind date watching party, and then had been up all night. And everyone at this party had been watching Blind Date the night before, and he said, you have to come to this party that was still going on. And so I arrived at this party, and these people all off their heads on various mind-altering substances. Just when I walked in, they could not believe it. It was like a mirage. This guy that they had just all been watching on TV the night before had walked in there. It was like the TV had come to life. I think three people jumped out the window.
You actually pioneered interactive television. That's fantastic.
Yeah, I was the red button.
So look, if you want to go and see Ed on tour, and you really should, the tour begins on the 2nd of March, and then it's everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere till the end of the year. It's been great having you on, Ed. I'm so glad you made it this time.
I'm glad too. I didn't have to swim across a moat of sharks or anything like that.
No, well, that's good. Maybe next time.
This is Frank Skinner.
Absolute
Radio.
What do you make of the Sarah... what should we call it? Sheetgate?
Oh, Sally Burkow.
Sally Burkow, that's what she's
Speaker's
called.
wife.
Photographed in just a sheet.
Yeah, bed sheet.
By an open window looking out over the Houses of Parliament.
To be fair to Sally Burkow in her bedsheet, I believe she is a paid accomplice on the well-known Westminster Ghost Tour. So she's probably just getting ready for work. Not such a bad thing.
Why do people pose in sheets? They're not even sexy. It's just soft furnishings.
I don't mind a
Like
fitted
curtains.
sheet. I find a fitted sheet can be very hogging on the right curves. If you can balance those elasticated corners around the upper regions, they don't just lie across. They cradle. But she didn't really do that. I think we have to say she's an attractive woman, is she not, Sally Burkow?
Good-looking woman.
Oh,
Well,
God.
I don't know. Is it just the company she keeps that makes her seem so attractive? I don't know if it's just in contrast.
I think the people on the Ghost Tour, you've got to remember a lot of that's makeup. Don't write those people off.
No, I just think.
What do you mean, Mr. Speaker?
Well, she said that she was the Carla Bruni of British politics,
Right.
which is
There's some doubt in your voice, Gareth Richards.
Well, it's Slim Pickens.
She's the Slim Pickens.
Oh, God, it's all gone a bit Richard Keys.
The old cowboy actor.
It's all gone Richard
I mean, I
Keys.
think, it's okay.
I'd say she's better looking than Carla Bruni.
Really?
No, Frank.
You don't think so?
Carla Bruni's a supermodel.
I think so.
Yeah, but she's one of those supermodels who looks like she shouldn't be. Let's put it that way.
Oh, God.
She looks in pain, Carla. Is it Bruni or Bruni?
Carla Bruni.
Okay. Yeah.
It's Italian.
She looks in pain.
Yeah. She's gone for the short politician as well. What is it with these women? They go for the short politician. I suppose because they're tall. Maybe he's.
I think they just go for the politician. I think the height is immaterial.
Oh well, maybe you're right. But I saw one thing I liked because there's on about that she gave away stuff about their sex life, which she didn't. But she did say that they're just normal people and that John Burko wears jeans at the weekend.
Oh, that's a bit grim.
From Baby Gap. Those ones with the slightly quilted turn up. I mean, how cute.
Ethan's got
She
some of
said
them.
she actually described him as. She said, "John, he's not stock. He's smart casual."
Oh, dear.
That's the worst that you can say about anyone.
He's a
isn't it?
very little man. You love him, though. You won't have a word said against him.
Oh, don't stop. I
do you
spoke
do?
to him for 5 minutes, and now I love him.
Well, she said that she says that politicians aren't sexy, but that power is an aphrodisiac, and so people with power are sexy. Did you think he was sexy?
No. But I didn't smell power on him. I didn't think power at all when I was speaking to him.
Didn't you?
No, he was. It's hard to associate. I know Napoleon was quite short. I saw a picture of them together, and I know people say rude things about the short person with tall person on the bed front, but putting that to one side, there's no doubt in my mind that he could not put his arm around his wife. He wouldn't be able to reach up to put his arm around his shoulder. I think that's always going to have a distance between the two, unless he sort of leapt up and then held on like Alien. You know, Alien. Like, so you sort of latch onto the face. If you jumped up and did that, I'm imagining him now naked, she just in the sheet, and him suddenly like wrapping his head around, like Hoggy. Remember those Hoggy bears you used to be able to get? You could fit on a bed. So she can hardly breathe. He's seeking suction where he can get it. Let me rephrase that. He's doing everything he can to hold. I think we're nearing the end of it. But she's an attractive woman. I'd say he's done very, very. He's batted above his average.
Oh, in this dress she's wearing, she's sort of wearing a giraffe print, which is unfortunate as well, standing next to him.
That's just hammering it home. Isn't it? Yeah, and that hat with the false snow on the top. That's just to humiliate him. Okay, and I don't think he should have that leather jacket with the shoelace in the front.
Oh, she's got him in reins.
Oh no, she shouldn't do him in reins.
Okay, is it?
No, it's gone too far. Next week, by the way, our guest is Mark Steele, the comedian man, and you'll be able to listen to Not the Weekend podcast on Wednesday morning if you take time to download. Yeah, I'd appreciate that. I think there was some problems with the downloading this week, but they're all solved. I apologise for that. We've got Vicky Blight coming up next. No BJ this week. He's I didn't mean that. I didn't mean that. I didn't mean that. I meant Ben. Oh no, it's the daytime. I'm trying to get away from this kind of material. Ben Jones is. I don't know where Ben Jones is. He's probably playing softball. Anyway,
wrapped in a bed sheet doing a photo shoot.
Do you think so? I'm sure he'd keep the baseball cap on. Maybe it's a jaunty angle, just for the sexy look. Anyway, goodbye.
You're listening to Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Treebor Soft Mints, bringing a softer, mintier feel to your Saturday morning.
Absolute Radio.